is not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also. Meaning this is the second time I'm interceding. I just lost my place. Also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Implying that it was in the plan to destroy this city as well. But because of a man, because of one righteous man made intercession.
It was actually 4 cities.
Absolutely. Sodom, Gomorrah, this one, Zorah, and the other one was like Bela or something to that nature.
God destroyed the other 3.
Yeah, and God destroyed them all. And it goes and it says that it was as if though a plume of smoke heading from a fireplace or something to that nature around the 30th verse. Anyways, we're getting to it. It says, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Again, just reiterating and stressing the point that because of one righteous man, because he prayed that God spared a whole city that was previously going to be condemned to destruction. And it's not room for arguing that it was going to be up for destruction, because he said, because of you, I'll spare this city, implying that it indeed was going to be destroyed.
What do you think he tarried?
What's that?
What do you think he tarried?
Which one, Lot? In the house or outside?
No, when the angel said to take him by the hand, I'll lead him out.
You know what? I believe that he tarried because of his daughter's husbands. Thank you. I was supposed to touch on that topic, but it slipped my mind. The reason why he was tarrying behind is because he tried to plead to his daughter's husbands, but they mocked him. They thought it was a joke.
Well, what do you think about the daughters?
What do you mean?
You think he had other daughters than the ones that escaped?
It said your sons and your daughters. If I'm not mistaken, let me go back and read it.
I believe it just says sons-in-laws. But think about it, these 2 girls that left never knew men, so they weren't married.
That's right.
It says that they were married, though.
Yeah, but only as a front, probably. I mean.
It says he had 2 virgin daughters,
Yes.
but he went to his sons-in-laws. So I believe that he had other daughters who was married. And I believe that's why Lot's wife looked back, and that's why he tarried. He didn't want to leave his daughters.
Amen, that's a great point. It said, that's a great one, I'll say that for the
That's what I believe.
Amen, Tim brought up a point that he said he had 2 daughters in the house. Amen, that knew no man. I just read the
And think about it, these were young girls.
Yeah,
Because they usually got married by the age of 12 or 13, so these were young girls.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Now, where was I? It was in the 21st verse, I believe. It says, and he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concern. Oh, I just read that. 22. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zorah. Now, I find this interesting because the angel spoke to him and said, I can't do anything until you leave.
Right.
Amen. This is going back to what Abraham spoke to the Lord, saying, for you to do such a thing and be far from thee. Amen. That God is not a man that he should lie. What's that?
It goes back even further than that. It goes back to the time that God made a covenant with Abraham. When God made a covenant with Abraham, then all his family also.
Absolutely. That his family would be as if, or the stars in heaven and the grains of sand upon all the beaches and all the earth. Amen. That covenant with him. Anyway, so it says, the sun was risen unto the earth, will not enter into the city. It said, and the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the city, and that which grew upon the ground. Now then, what was the main sin of this city? Amen? Of these places? Homosexuality. Now then, people get mad at us Christians for when we say homosexuality is wrong. I got news for you, it still is. The Lord's word is still true. That the Lord destroyed this place because of it. Amen?
That's right.
Amen. Sin is sin, no matter what it is. The wages of sin is death. Amen. But they feel, oh, well, why do you particularly pick on this sin? Why not pick on the liars and the thieves and all this? Surely there are all those in the world. Well, I got news for you.
Pick on
Everybody knows that. Well, I do pick on them all. But anyways, The reason why we specifically gravitate towards that subject, because everybody knows lying's wrong. Amen?
Yeah.
Everybody knows murdering is wrong. Everybody knows stealing is wrong.
Adultery
Amen?
is wrong.
Everybody knows adultery is wrong. Amen? But what the point is, why we particularly target that more often than not is because that's the only sin that they try to argue isn't wrong.
Right.
Amen? So let me tell you that the Lord would destroy this city just for that sake. Amen?
What do you
That
think
these
of
men-
them and repented? Romans chapter 1.
What was it?
Turns them over to a
Reprobated mind. Amen.
Right.
You know, that these men, why didn't they repent? As Tim brought up, it's in Romans chapter 1 that at a certain point they'll be handed over to the reprobated mind. The Bible even goes further and says that you can scald your conscience as if though with hot irons. Meaning you can kill your conscience. Meaning
That's
if you were to do something bad, you'd feel bad for it. You'd feel remorse for your actions. But if you do it again, it becomes a little less. Once it becomes perpetual, once it becomes a habit, amen? Once you become caught up in a sin, amen, you need deliverance from it. But if you don't, at a certain point, once it becomes so ingrained in your life, it becomes a part of your lifestyle, you'll never change.
Right.
It says the Lord will hand you over to a reprobated mind. Amen. God, Lord, have mercy on us all. Amen. Lest any one of us be caught up in a sin. Anyways, in closing, just explaining that just intercession, amen, that God would spare a whole entire city just for the sake of one. Amen. Our city needs prayer. Amen. What does the word say? One could set 1,000 to flight and two could set 10,000 to flight. I urge us as Christians and anybody who might be listening or watching this evening, just continue to pray for Cleveland. Amen. Continue to pray for our nation and our people. And the Lord, having mercy on the whole city for one man's cry, how much more mercy would He have if all the saints cry out? Amen.
Amen.
It says, the prayers of a righteous man availeth much.
Yes.
Oh, but the word says, no man is righteous, no, not one. But Jesus says, little children, I write unto you, do not be deceived. For he who practices righteousness is righteous. Amen. It's the righteousness of Christ. Amen. You are a Christian, you are saved, you've been redeemed, you've been forgiven, you've been born again. Amen. Christ is in you, you are a righteous child. You're righteous, you're righteous. Amen. You're righteous, we're righteous. And the Lord will hear the prayers of a righteous man. Amen. So now we're going to, if you'd all stand and come towards the middle, we're going to pray before we dismiss. Be blessed in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.